Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news and note smash up video today, starting with Anthony Joshua, who's given a bit of an insight about his training situation, or at least his thinking on what he may be doing next, or at least his philosophy and what he wants. So remember, he brought in Robert Garcia to train alongside Angel Fernandez. It was a bit of a 1A, 1B situation. That was for the Oleksandr Usyk rematch. Angel Fernandez has also been in the Joshua setup for a couple of years now, since the Andy Ruiz Jr. rematch. So Joshua, speaking to Sporting News when he was in the Middle East watching the Bivol fight, said, "I want to be a free spirit. I locked myself down for 11 years with one coach, and now I just feel like I want to learn as much as possible. I feel I'm in a position where I'm able to work with anyone, so who knows what will happen next year." So if I was Robert Garcia, who very publicly said after the rematch loss to Oleksandr Usyk, "Look, I would like for Joshua to come out to the United States, train in my gym, be in a more competitive environment, sparring with guys, and just in general having a different vibe and feel to the camp, not being it all tailored around him." And Joshua sort of seems to be, through those statements, balking at that prospect. And if I was Robert Garcia, I might think that, well, maybe I'm not going to be in the setup at all. And who knows what this means for Angel Fernandez. Remember, he's been a big part of the Usyk camps, and obviously he's been in this sort of circle for a while. Is Joshua also going to part ways with him if he does in fact part ways with Robert Garcia? So he said to Sporting News, "I have told Robert Garcia and his team, look, this is sort of what I'm after." So maybe that's an amicable way of saying this isn't going to work, and it very well could be. Remember, Joshua, he has sort of flirted with this sort of strategy before, working with different trainers and being open to that, going in and doing things. And he had that very public tour around the United States where, well, I guess it was just well covered by the media, but he was effectively trialing different trainers, trying it on, seeing what was going to work. He met with Eddie Reynoso, Virgil Hunter, and he spoke glowingly of Hunter and at different points, and before signing with or before bringing on Robert Garcia, should I say. And there was a few others as well that he did go to sort of work with, train on the pads. I think Ronnie Shields was another as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I mean, you can certainly make a case that is chopping and changing going to be all that productive? But also, after one fight, can you really get an indication of whether the sort of link up with Garcia was going to be successful or not? I mean, potentially, but I would have thought you'd need to give it a few fights to really help bed in some of the style. But the sort of elephant in the room is that Angel Fernandez situation, because if he's a big sort of voice in the camp and has a lot of influence with Joshua, and it sort of seems to be he does, is anyone really going to want to sort of take on that sort of situation where Joshua's got someone who effectively is his man and has got his ideas and is going to be running part of the camp and having a huge influence over it? I'm not sure that a lot of head trainers would want to be in a sort of 1A, 1B situation with another guy calling a different amount of, quite a few of the shots. And remembering, in the corner for the Usyk fights, Fernandez very vocal as well. Robert Garcia, though, in the corner did sort of seem to be maybe not giving it straight to Joshua, but really we don't know what's going on with Joshua's training situation right now, but it's not nice. So the what next for Joshua is interesting in terms of the fight front. Remembering, he had said in that mad rant after his loss to Usyk that he was looking to get straight back out and he wanted to be in the ring in December before the end of the year, and almost, was looking to fight Tyson Fury, didn't come off. And now Eddie Hearn has spoken about sort of potentially March, April, May. It's up to Joshua when he wants to come back. I mean, I think a bit of a break after 2 back-to-back losses, long, hard, grueling camps, the pressure, all that sort of stuff, it may be actually very good for him. Recuperate body and mind. I mean, if he was going to be back in the ring and it wasn't Tyson Fury, Who was it going to be? And I guess we don't have to really sort of ponder too much on that, at least for this year. But he has spoken about potentially jumping in the ring with Dillian Whyte. He said, "I would fight Dillian again, yes, 100%. It could be, but don't hold me to the cross the things I say. The game's forever changing. It's also whatever Dillian wants to do as well." Eddie Hearn, he's mentioned that as a potential next matchup, maybe cut out the tune-up fight, but Hearn has also said, well, if he does want a fight early in 2023, maybe it's a warm-up followed by a Whyte fight, or straight to the Whyte fight. And also there's been the talk of a potential fight with Deontay Wilder, which, I mean, we've been banging on about this for 5 years. Both these guys have subsequently lost after being in the frame for Undisputed. That's gone by the wayside, and losses have ensued. But Hearn has spoken about positive sort of communications, and that Shelley Finkel of Deontay Wilder's management, co-manager Finkel, he's talked it up, a potential fight for next year. Wilder's been going on about it in recent weeks. I mean, people saying all these things, it doesn't fill me with confidence given the sort of track record we've got. But Hearn apparently is saying this is the most communication, the most positive sort of response he's had in years. So we'll see what happens. But he says, again, it all depends on AJ if he wants to go into a fight like that, or if he has a fight earlier in the year. But I see AJ against Deontay Wilder as a must-make fight. I really do. I think it's one of the biggest in the sport. Could have been bigger, but those guys, everyone fell over themselves and it never happened. And because of potential promotional issues, I mean, and everything that's happened, all the water that's gone under the bridge, I'm not holding my breath. And the reason both sides might be warming up to really actually making it, well, they can see that that money could end up going up in smoke and just drifting off like a fart in the wind. It really could, there's a lot of money that would be left on the table if that fight never happened. And it's obviously not as big a fight as it once was. Still, I'll take it if they can get it, but I'm not holding my breath either. Oleksandr Usyk's manager, Egis Klimas, is confident that they can get a fight with Tyson Fury for Undisputed early in 2023, saying everything is done from our side, and this is speaking to secondsout.com. Everything, absolutely. So it's only for one guy who can say yes, we're going, and that's Fury. I guess, well, hopefully that's positive, and if Fury can get past Derek Chisora, which I think he should, and if he doesn't, that's a concern, that we should get Fury and Usyk in 2023. But we can't count our chickens, just like a previous Undisputed fight we just mentioned that never got made. You almost have to see it announced in the ring before you truly believe it's going to happen. We've been waiting a generation, and often these big fights, they are sometimes the hardest to make. But Tyson Fury has brought Alen Babic and also Marko Milun into his camp, the Croatian heavyweights. Also, David Adeleye and Jermaine Franklin are training there as well. They've been there for a week or so. Babic and Marko Milun have just entered the camp. So Adeleye and Franklin, they've got upcoming fights. Franklin facing Dillian Whyte later this month, and later this week, David Adeleye back in action. Moving on to a Lou DiBella card that's just been announced a couple of days ago, so I haven't done one of these videos, so a good time to mark it. Stephen Shaw is returning, so he had previously made a post that he was having effectively a tune-up fight of sorts, a tick-over, before something big in 2023, or bigger, and it would be on Top Rank and ESPN. He is co-promoted by them along with DiBella Entertainment. Also on the card, you've got a couple of other heavyweight fights that will feature, one involving the 3-0 prospect Fernelly Feliz Jr., who was a decent amateur, and also Michael Pirotton. So I really haven't seen much of him, 6-0 at the moment. That looks like, at least if you're a heavyweight fan, that it could be a decent one to watch if you can catch it. Meanwhile, Jarrell Big Pharmacy Miller, and you can see here looking in better shape, remembering weighed in at, 340-something pounds for his comeback fight, trimmed down to 325 for his second one back in after another drug ban. But he's looking in better condition and slimming down. Also, it could be the angle here. He is sort of flexing up and could be stretching that stomach out a little bit. But he says big news coming soon, getting ready for war. So what is that going to be? I mean, big news coming soon, that could actually indicate it could be something meaningful. And if so, what would it be? Maybe it's only a fringe contender, but at the moment, Miller's been facing pretty low-level opposition to sort of get back into the groove. So a step up is certainly warranted at some point. And rounding out this heavyweight news and notes mashup video, Jared Anderson, he's entered the new WBC rankings at number 15. Robert Helenius comes out, and that was per the rankings update at the WBC's 60th convention. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.